This is a brief tutorial on how to interpret a best subset map developed from a GARP ecological niche model experiment. In this example, I'll use a map from the supplement from Barrow et al. On our work in redefining the anthrax belt in Australia. The GARP modeling process is essentially a random walk through variable space where we try and link ecological conditions from a set of covariates or raster files to a set of presence points, in this case the location of anthrax outbreaks in Australia. In a GARP experiment, our objective is to run multiple models because of that stochastic process, and then summate those models and look at where models agree to best define with confidence where we think the species should be present on the landscape. So let's link up what we see here on the map with what we see here in the legend. The GARP Best Subset procedure arrives at a user-defined number of models and examines where those models overlap. In this case, we've defined the best subset as 10 individual models, and we have 11 possibilities. The first is that none of the pixels are predicted as present by any of those 10 models, giving a value of 0 or gray here on the map. Any value with a 0 would mean that none of the models in that best subset predicted that area as present. Then, increasing in intensity from one model up to a higher number of models indicates that more and more of those models in the best subset predict that individual pixel with that many number of models in the best subset. So any area on the map indicated with a value of 10, like the area I'm highlighting here, would mean that all models in that best subset agreed at that pixel. In contrast, an area like here would be an area somewhere here in the greens where only one or two models in the best subset predicted those pixels. So the best way to interpret this is as what I often refer to as model confidence. So with an increasing intensity, an increasing to color of red indicates a higher level of confidence that those areas could support the species. In this case, the areas in red are the most likely to support Bacillus anthracis, the bacterium that causes anthrax. The best subset procedure was originally laid out and defined in a single paper by Anderson et al. 2003. And the GARP Best Subset, by default, takes the 10 best models in an experiment. What you'll see in the literature as most common practice is to run an experiment that generates up to 200 models and selects from that potential 200 models the 10 models that meet those criteria. And those criteria will be defined in another brief lecture. It's not uncommon in papers to see authors define a threshold of a certain number of best models that must agree. In this example, from a study that I did in 2007 modeling the prediction of Bacillus anthracis across the continental US, I selected a threshold of 5 or more models. So out of those 10 best models, at least 5 had to agree in order to be considered suitable for Bacillus anthracis. And notice in this map example, our shade goes from light red, like areas here, to dark red, like areas here. So this threshold was user-defined, and arguably you could just say that this is a conservative estimate. meaning we're being more conservative about the number of models that have to agree before we have confidence that that area might predict or support the species being modeled. So there you have a brief tutorial on how to interpret the best subset map produced from an ecological niche modeling experiment using the GARP, desktop GARP platform. So you'll see a measure of model agreement that can range from 0 up to the maximum number set by the user. Most often that value is 10, and occasionally you'll see authors select some threshold or conservative estimate of what needs to be considered. Do keep in mind, without a threshold, like shown here in the top with Australia, a value of 1 still indicates that at least one of those models in that best subset, so one of those models that met those criteria defined by Anderson et al., were met on that landscape. So setting a higher cutoff just means a higher level of confidence is required, or a more conservative geographic estimate. I hope this is helpful. As always, you can drop me an email, and good luck in your modeling experiments.